Her voice echoed down the marble hallway. "You're sleeping on the couch until you apologize." I looked at her once, really looked. The diamonds on her wrist caught the light, the same light that didn't reach her eyes anymore. "For something I didn't do?" I asked. "Don't play innocent," she said, already walking away. I didn't follow. I didn't plead. I didn't even ask what she thought I'd done. I just said, "Okay." That word was the quietest rebellion I'd ever spoken. The couch became my kingdom. The silence, my ally. She thought I'd bend like before, that I'd crawl back into her approval. She didn't realize that every night alone was sharpening something inside me. By the 7th morning, I wasn't sleeping on the couch anymore. I was building something behind the closed door of the guest room, something private, deliberate, and entirely mine. When she finally walked in, her face froze. Velvet drapes, a stocked minibar, a massive TV, a leather chair facing the window, my world, not hers. She stood in the doorway, speechless. I smiled. It was the first honest moment between us in years. It started long before the couch, before the cold dinners, the clipped tones, the eyes that avoided mine during breakfast. I used to think wealth made her restless. Then I realized it made her cruel. Control was her language of love. Everything had to bend around her orbit, my schedule, my choices, even my silence. She said I made her feel trapped, but I was the one sleeping beside a stranger. Then came the accusation. Some text she found, a photo she heard about. No proof, no names, just her voice trembling with rehearsed outrage. "You humiliated me," she whispered, shaking. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to tell her she'd been talking to herself for months. But I stayed quiet, because something in her eyes wasn't fear, it was guilt. That was the moment it all changed. The moment I stopped defending myself and started observing her instead. Small things, late-night showers, sudden trips to her friend's gallery, locked screens when I entered the room. She thought she was subtle. She wasn't. The guest room became more than a retreat. It became my headquarters, my silence, her surveillance. I started collecting fragments, receipts, calls, shadows. By the time Thanksgiving came around, the truth had already begun to bleed through her perfectly painted smile. I didn't confront her, not yet. People like her, people who build castles out of lies, destroy themselves faster if you just watch. So I watched. Her perfume changed. Her phone lived face down. Her laughter, once rare, became abundant whenever she texted. I traced it all back. Bank transactions, late meetings, her favorite restaurant, booked twice a week, always for two. A man's name began to surface, Clive. The gallery owner she'd once called insufferable. Funny how easily disgust turns into desire. I let the story unfold. Quietly, efficiently. I hired no one. I needed no one. Wealth had made her lazy, and arrogance had made her predictable. She used the same credit card for everything. The first proof came in a photo, her reflection in the window of Clive's car. A reflection she'd missed when she posted a story of the gallery lighting. She'd always underestimated details. Then came the email, her confirmation for a weekend trip. Zurich exhibition. Same weekend she told me she was visiting her sister. I booked my own ticket that same night. Different flight, different hotel. The moment I saw them together in the cafe by Lake Geneva, her hand on his sleeve, her laughter soft and guilty, I didn't feel rage. I felt freedom. I took a photo, just one. Clean, quiet, undeniable. And then I left. A week later, I placed an envelope on the dining table. She walked in wearing silk and suspicion. "What's this?" "Open it." Her hands trembled before the first photo even left the envelope. Her face drained of color. "You followed me?" "No," I said. "You exposed yourself. I just documented it." Tears didn't come, only the sound of her breathing, short, sharp, defensive. "I can explain. I don't need one." She reached for my arm, but I stepped back. Calm, cold. The marble between us felt symbolic. "You wanted an apology," I said, "for something I didn't do." Now her lips trembled. "Please." I turned, walking toward the door. Behind me, I heard her whisper my name like a curse she didn't believe in anymore. That was the last time I heard her voice in that house. By December, the divorce papers were signed. She took her money, her jewelry, her hollow pride. I took silence and peace. Then came another call, this time from my daughter-in-law. "Dad, if you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes." The tone was playful, entitled, the same arrogance her mother once wore like perfume. I looked out at the alpine view through the glass walls of my new villa in Switzerland. Snow fell like forgiveness I'd never asked for. "Enjoy," I said, and ended the call. Hours later, I uploaded a few photos. Nothing dramatic, just a subtle glimpse. Wine glass, fireplace, the lake outside. 71 missed calls followed. Hers, my son's, even the daughter-in-law's. The message was clear. They'd finally realized what I'd built when they weren't looking. What I'd become when I stopped explaining myself. They all think silence is weakness, that walking away means surrender. But silence is strategy, and distance is revenge. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't destroy anyone's life. I simply stepped out of their orbit and built a universe that no longer included them. The couch was never a punishment. It was a beginning. Now, when the firelight flickers against the Swiss glass, I sometimes hear her voice again, commanding, arrogant, certain she'd already won. And I almost smile. Because she taught me everything she thought would break me. I pour another drink, raise it to the snow, and whisper the truth she never saw coming. I never needed an apology. I just needed proof.